Hello everybody, this is Ian here, and welcome back to another Doctor Who video. So, the titles of the Season 10 episodes just got released, so I thought I'd give my thoughts on the titles and the writers and directors involved. And my thoughts on what I think the episode's generally going to be like, or what's going to be in it. I know that this is a bit like judging a book by its cover, but I don't care, it's my channel. So, first off, the episodes. We have the pilot, Smile, Thin Ice, Knock Knock, Oxygen, Extremis, The Pyramid at the End of the World, The Lie of the Land, The Empress of Mars, The Eaters of Light, World Enough in Time, and The Doctor Falls. So, we'll start at the beginning, the pilot. So the title. I like the title itself, but it irritates me that they did use that as the title, because Doctor Who has a pilot episode. It's a general rule that you do not reuse titles, because now it's going to be really confusing anytime anyone refers to the pilot, because they could be talking about either the pilot episode or the episode The Pilot. Anyway, the director is a guy named Lawrence Goff, who hasn't done anything for Doctor Who before, borrowing a short introductory video for Bill, so I can't really comment on him. And the writer is Stephen Moffat, so at this point his writing is so variable that it's impossible to make a prediction as to whether it will be good or not. Since this episode is going to be a companion introduction piece, I think it probably will not be overly complicated, and it might include the Daleks to allow most of the focus to be on Bill, as we have a villain that we are already acquainted with. Smile. This episode really sounds like it's going to be, or try to be, a creepy or unnerving horror story, as its title is one imperative verb that seems to be fairly innocuous. See, the other 3 episodes that have also been solitary imperative verbs are listen, blink, and hide. So, once again, the director is Lawrence Goff, so no comment. The writer is Frank Cottrell Boyce, who wrote In the Forest of the Night, which was pretty terrible, but I think it's unfair to judge his writing skills based on one episode, so I'm reserving judgment. Final thoughts. I think this is going to be the episode that contained those little robots with the changing eyes, because they are smiling, and the episode is called Smile. And I think it's going to end up being a lot like the Happiness Patrol, where you must be happy or else bad things will happen to you. Probably death. Next episode, Thin Ice. So the title, I don't really have much to say on it, but I think that it would be an Ice Warriors episode if another episode wasn't called The Empress of Mars. But who knows, maybe they show up twice this season. The only real comment I have on the title is the same complaint that I have with the pilot, and that is that there is already an episode called Thin Ice, albeit it's an audio play, but that is still going to generate a lot of confusion. The director is someone named Bill Anderson, who hasn't done anything before, so the writer is Sarah Dollard, who wrote Face the Raven, so that means that Thin Ice could be pretty good. Final thoughts? This episode will probably take place in a cold environment. Knock Knock is probably going to be a creepy. The next episode, Knock Knock, is probably just going to be a creepy episode based on the overly innocent title. That's really all I have on the title. The director is Bill Anderson again. The writer is a guy named Mike Barlett, who has also never worked on Doctor Who before. So, due to the fact that both the writer and the director are new, I can't really glean anything from the title except it will probably be creepy, this episode is probably going to be the wild card of the season. But given that the John Sim Master is coming back in Series 10, Knock Knock would fit with that, so that is a possibility. Episode 5, Oxygen. The title, Oxygen, seems to indicate a claustrophobic horror story. Maybe the main plot is that the Doctor and co. are on a ship or in a base that has a limited amount of oxygen. Maybe it'll be like 42, where it is in real time, and they're slowly running out of oxygen. They'll run out of oxygen in 42 minutes or something like that. The director is Charles Palmer, who also directed Smith & Jones, The Shakespeare Code, and The Human Nature / Family of Blood, all of which had excellent direction. And the writer is Jamie Mathewson, who wrote Flatline and Mummy on the Orient Express, both of which were also amazing. He also co-wrote The Girl Who Died, but he co-wrote it with Stephen Moffat, so I don't feel like I can accurately judge him based on that. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this one. Episode 6, Extremis. Title sounds cool. I can't really get anything else from it. Something is going to be to the extreme. The director is Daniel Netheim, who also directed the Zygon two-parter, which, while I don't remember it having amazing standout direction, was definitely well directed. So, I'm anticipating Extremis' direction to be good. The writer is Stephen Moffat, though, so. Final thoughts. This is the first part of an alleged three-parter, although how accurate that will be is yet to be ascertained, as both Season 3 and Season 9 ended in supposed three-parters, which really could have been a one-parter and a two-parter and 3 one-parters, respectively. Anyway, I feel like this three-parter is going to feature the Daleks, if any do, because there are no of the Daleks stories, and none of the others seem to indicate Daleks. The only other one that might be the Dalek episode is the pilot. So basically, if this is the Dalek episode, it could be an epic like the Daleks' Master Plan. Or it might not. Episode 7, The Pyramid at the End of the World. Has to have what must be in the running for the longest Doctor Who episode title ever. Like, wow, it's really long. It actually contains the title of another episode inside of it, that being The End of the World. I can't really get much else from it other than that there will probably be a pyramid, either at the end of the world temporally, or somewhere remote like in a jungle, the end of the world spatially. The director is Daniel Netheim again, and the writer is Peter Harness, who also worked on the Zygon two-parter and Kill the Moon. Kill the Moon wasn't that great, but Netheim and Harness did good work on the Zygon one, so I can assume they'll work together well on this one as well. Final thoughts? It's the middle part of a 3-part serial. Episode 8, The Lie of the Land. Title? I don't know what it means. I can't get anything from it. The director of Lie of the Land is Wayne Yip, a newcomer to who I don't really know what to think of him. The writer is Toby Whithouse, one of my favorite Doctor Who writers, who has written favorites such as Under the Lake, Before the Flood, The God Complex, and School Reunion, so I'm excited to see him wrap up this 3-parter. This is the third and final part of Season 10's epic, although the fact that each episode is written by a different person, and that Extremis is going to be released on one DVD, and Pyramids and Lie of the Land are going to be released on another, seems to indicate that it will be closer to a 3-parter in the way that Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hellbent were technically a 3-parter, than as, say, Planet of Giants was a 3-parter. Anyway, if the 3-parter is more like 3 independent but connected episodes, then I'm excited to see how Whithouse will execute the finale. Episode 9, The Empress of Mars. It's going to be an Ice Warrior episode with the Ice Queen. It's fairly obvious by the title. The director is Wayne Yip again, so no comment. The writer is Mark Gatiss, who has a patchy record, to say the least. I like Night Terrors, but I didn't like Sleep No More. I love The Unquiet Dead, but I hate Victory of the Daleks. All the rest of his episodes seem to fall somewhere in the slight dislike to slight like category. He is a big fan of the show, though, so that's always a plus when dealing with a classic enemy. So honestly, I'm not that excited about this one, because I don't really care about a new Ice Warrior type, because it's probably just going to be basically an Ice Warrior with some twist thrown in, like maybe it's telepathic or can teleport or something. Anyway, Episode 9, The Eaters of Light. It's got a cool title, but sounds more cryptic than literal, so it doesn't give me a lot to work with. The director is Charles Palmer, so what I said about him earlier still applies. The writer is Rona Munro, who also wrote Survival, which, while not the best script, was far from the worst, and I think a lot of the blame for its shortcomings come from other sources, such as the heavy editing that had to be done to it. So this is an episode that I am looking forward to. I also think it's going to be the one where the Roman guy disappears into the wall in the trailer. I don't know why, it just feels right. That one or Extremis or the Pyramid at the End of the World. It's going to be one of those 3. The first part of the series finale, World, Enough, and Time. I have no idea what this title means, but I like it. It sounds like something I might come up with. The director is Rachel Talalay, who is an excellent director, as she has shown in Heaven Sent, Hellbent, and other episodes. The writer is Stephen Moffat, so I have no idea what the script's quality is going to be like. It's going to have the Mondasian Cybermen in it, which will be good, but it's also going to have every other incarnation of the Cybermen and at least one incarnation of the Master, so there's a good chance it is going to get way too crowded. Finally, the Doctor falls. I don't like the title a lot because it seems a bit too on the nose about what's going to happen at the end. It could have been a lot more subtle, and the title, The Doctor Falls, seems to indicate something much more dire than a regeneration. Final thoughts. This episode and the one before are two that I think simply cannot be judged without seeing them first. In fact, I can't really judge any of these episodes before seeing them. These are just my predictions. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.